As we are beginning to discuss the Torah, one thing that is very clear to me is that the confusion that has been spread from Christianity is always going to be present when discussing why we are to still keep the Torah. There's a great deal of confusion. Many people have quoted Paul speaking about the works of the law, and they use this to justify not keeping the law. As I discuss this topic of keeping the Torah, I don't want to always have to go in depth on the works of the law and understanding the difference between the first covenant and the new covenant. A year ago or so, I made an illustration showing what Christianity tries to promote as being the change in the new covenant versus what the actual change in the new covenant is. I think it's a good illustration to go back to any time someone is confused about the difference in the covenants. So as the Torah series continues, I want this illustration to always be present so that there's always a clear contrast between the way versus Christianity. So I'm making this as a supplement to the Keeping the Torah series. So what we'll do first is highlight what Christianity teaches first. In regards to Christianity, understand they consider works to be good deeds. That's how Christianity defines it. And this definition is extremely important to get down to, because what if what Paul was calling works of the law was not the same definition that Christians were declaring it to be? Could it be that that one definition helped create a new religion? So based on that article from Got Questions, it asserts that basically in Christianity, doing our good deeds in order to receive this gift that Yah gave Israel is looked at as works. And because it's works, and we're not justified by our works, we are not required to do these things that Yah has said. So therefore, in Christianity, what is preached is that everything that our Father told Israel to do and how to live according to the Old Covenant is a form of works. And it makes it that you're trying to earn your salvation if you do them. And so basically what Christianity tells us to believe is that this nation of people, after Yahusha died and resurrected, there are a body of believers who are called the church. And they went around telling everyone that all the ways that the children of Israel lived since they came out of Egypt no longer mattered. And they were not tied to these laws and statutes any longer. This is what Christianity imagines it to be. According to Christianity, imagine that they were out there telling the people that they didn't have to keep the Torah anymore. We're talking about to the Yahudim. Telling the Yahudim that they didn't have to follow those laws anymore. Saying stuff like, everything that our father chastised and punished our ancestors for not following, he has now given us all a way that we don't need to do any of these customs anymore. Basically, they're saying, what we say and what we write to you, all now, this is what you follow. So you can imagine that some of the followers said, well, what about the 10 Commandments? They said, well, of course we keep the 10, but we don't have to keep that fourth one anymore. We don't honor the seventh day, but we'll keep the eighth day because it's new. Oh, also, eat whatever you want. We know that all our lives these foods were not good for us, and we never let these unclean animals touch our lips before. But because Messiah died for us, these foods are now good for us. Remember Isis? Wait a second. Wait, who's that? Mashiach. Oh, Isis, that's his name in Greek. Why did you change his name? Was the Messiah Greek? His name was Yahusha. Oh, you all don't get it. It's new. Our culture doesn't matter over anyone else's anymore. We were only set apart under the old covenant. Today we are something new. If you want to call him by Greek, it's fine. Even though we despise those Greeks who try to take over our land and force us into their customs, now that Messiah died for us, we can now adapt to the Greeks. You know, because it's popular. This is what everyone says, so we should say it. Satan's movement is grown in much more influence than ours, so it's only right that we just adjust to it so everybody can understand. Anyways, Isis, remember, he said that it's not what goes into the mouth that defiles a man, but what comes out of the mouth, this defiles a man. Hold up, wait a second. My cousin was there when Yahusha said that, and he was talking about the tradition we have about washing our hands before we eat. My cousin literally said, he explained to his disciples, for out of the heart proceeds evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, and blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. But to eat with unwashed hands does not defile a man. That's what he said. He didn't say we can eat a pig. Yahuwah said, those who eat swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed. We don't understand. Are you saying Yahuwah changed? No, he never changed. except that he did. He said the things he has always cared about and guided us to follow, he no longer cares about those things. He's made things much easier for us. You all don't get it? We're Christians. Aistus is the Christos. And because we follow Aistus, all we have to do is now believe. That's it. Wait, so you're saying now that all we have to do is believe? Yes, this is what I'm saying. Believe is all we have to do because we have liberty now. Oh, before I forget, let me give you this. Take this. Bro, what's this? Oh, this is my Christmas list. Christmas list? What's Christmas? Well, you know how the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, Egyptians, they all celebrate their god on the winter solstice? Well, we've decided that we're going to celebrate Aissa's birthday at the same time, and we give each other gifts and we put up Christmas trees. Wow, brother, this is really too much for me to follow. This sounds completely opposite from everything I was told by the law and the prophets. I really can't catch on to any of this. There's so many changes. You are saying that the law and commands that we lived under, that they're no longer valid, and everything that Yah said to us, we no longer have to follow. It's not the 10 commandments anymore, but it's really 9, but still really 10, because Sunday's the 8th. You're saying all foods are no longer unclean, so even though pigs eat trash, we can still eat them. You're saying that the feasts Yah told us to remember are no longer to be celebrated, and we're now celebrating Christmas and Easter. Yahusha wasn't born in December though. That's not even our calendar, but that's what we're supposed to be using. This is what you're saying? I want to make sure I'm correct. You got it. Wow, being a Christian is awesome. This is what we're supposed to tell everyone. We must spread this news. I didn't even tell you the best part. What's the best part? Once you're saved and you accept Aissus in your heart, there is nothing that you can do that will make you be rejected by Yah. So you know how our ancestors were always messing up? Now because of Aissus, if we made those same mistakes after we accepted and believed in Aissus, we would still not be rejected. Wow, so this really is a change. So our ancestors, they just really had just bad timing, huh? So if we just believe in all this, we're good no matter what. And is there nothing that we could do that will make him reject us? Huh. Actually, there is one thing. Okay, tell me, brother, what is it? You can be rejected if you ever try to do these laws and commands ever. If you keep the old commands our forefathers kept, you will go to hell. If you ever try to do what he told our ancestors to do, you will go to hell. Face it, you can't keep it, so now you don't have to anymore. And he's going to punish you if you try. Wow. Okay, so listen, all of this is so different than the Torah we read every Sabbath. How will our children know how to do this? Who's going to document this? I don't remember any word from Yahusha. I know you call him Aissus, but I remember him as a Hebrew, not a Greek. Anyway, I remember Yahusha saying that he did not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it. This sounds a lot like it's abolished now. How are we to be sure we are doing what's right? Listen, we know it's right because he said he's giving us something new. And this is new, isn't it? And the thing is that all these people later on, they're just going to have to figure it out and they're going to let their hearts guide. Okay. And yeah, I know I'm animating this and the dialogue might be a little off and corny, whatever. But honestly, when you put all these different beliefs into this religion, this is clearly what Christianity wants us to believe that this faith that comes from the Bible actually is. Basically, the true culture that these people of Israel lived through, it no longer applies, and keeping the law is considered as good works. But here's the thing. None of that is true. And if you don't like that animation, then you don't like the religion that you call Christianity, because that's exactly what the religion of Christianity portrays, just not in that same dialogue. Christianity is a completely false application of this biblical faith. It is not a representation of the faith that you would find if you read the scriptures from the beginning straight to the end, straight through. There is confusion and it needs to be set straight. So to help with the confusion, let's deal with what it actually looks like when following the way. You see, there were many Hebrews that began to believe in the Messiah and believe in what the prophets prophesied of this new covenant. But this was a huge change. And so they were now believing in Yahusha, but there was now a change. The apostles are now saying that to atone from now on, you don't have to go to the Levitical priest. You don't have to sacrifice the blood of rams or goats any longer. Now what you need to do is believe in the atonement that Yahusha provides. Imagine a situation like this. Like, bro, I think I just sinned against Yah. I saw my neighbor got a new herd of cattle and sheep. And I was like, how did he get that when I work harder than him? I was coveting, man, and I need to repent. I'm headed to the temple right now to atone. I'll see you later on today. Brother, remember, you're a believer in Messiah now. You don't need to go to the temple to atone. Wait, what are you talking about? What do you mean? If I don't go to the temple to atone, I won't be set right with Yah. My guy, haven't you understood anything the apostles have said? This is the new covenant, and Yahusha's sacrifice provides our atonement now. You don't have to sacrifice a goat anymore. Now what you must do is believe that Yahusha's sacrifice settles you before Yah. Nah, wait. So you're saying I'm right with Yah if I just believe in Yahusha's sacrifice? Just believe it? You're saying that's all I have to do? You read that letter from Paul that they read in the synagogue, right? He said, we conclude that a man is justified by faith apart from the deeds of the law. The apostles who walk with Yahusha have said that we are justified by faith in Yahusha's sacrifice and not by the sacrificing of blood. Oh, I don't know, man. That sounds a little risky. My parents, my grandparents, they have all kept this law and have been in good standing with Yah. And we've been blessed since we came back these past 100 years after captivity. What if you're wrong? And now I am not only dwelling in sin, but the sin is still here on my children. I don't know if I can take that risk, bro. I'm telling you, brother, you're not justified by the priest anymore. That system is done away. Remember, Yah said he's giving us a new covenant and he won't remember our sin anymore. Yes, I do remember this. And I remember Yahusha spoke about him being the bread of life and what we need. I also remember John the Baptist, before he was killed, said Yahusha was the Lamb of Elohim, taking away the sins of the world. I remember all that, but I never really understood it all completely because these Pharisees, they were confusing me, bro. So it's true then. We only need to believe in Yahusha as our atonement and we're forgiven and we don't gotta go to the priest anymore? Yes, brother. We're saved by grace. We must have faith in this and we must believe. This is what is required of us, belief. Wow, that's awesome and a lot to process. I still don't truly understand though, because all of them down the street, they started believing in Yahusha as well. But I saw the brother Keziah just go to the Levites for something done in his home with his family. I don't think everyone really gets it, man. Yeah, it's funny. There was a letter that just came addressed to all of us who are struggling with this understanding. It breaks it all down. It's like a letter to all us Hebrews. Really? I need to read it. Let's go. And you see, that's why this letter to the Hebrews was so important. That's why all these letters from Paul were so important. They were teaching these new followers how to apply this covenant. They were no longer sacrificing goats and rams for atonement. And if you understood how big of a change that was to the way that they lived for thousands of years before, you would understand how big of trailblazers these Hebrews were. They were adapting to understanding how Yahusha's blood and sacrifice now provides them with atonement. So they needed to now trust in and believe in Yahusha for this and stop trying to justify themselves to Yah by doing sin offerings, because it literally is taking the sacrifice Yahusha made and taking it in vain and making it pointless. This is the actual faith. When they're actually taking the blood of rams and goats and saying this provides atonement, it makes Yahusha's sacrifice worthless. This is what the letters from Paul is speaking of. I do not set aside the grace of Elohim, for if righteousness comes through the law, then Messiah died in vain. That's Galatians chapter 2, verse 21. But Christians, they apply this completely wrong. When you understand exactly what Paul is saying here, it hits differently. The thing is that Christianity is a faith that comes from tares that never wanted to be obedient to Yah, and they never wanted to adapt to the culture of the Hebrews, as you see the quotes from the early church fathers from earlier. And many more of those quotes exist. And when you read them, you'll see that through the history, the Christianity that the world practices took the influence of these early church father men, and they created the doctrine of how they were going to use the sacrifice of Jesus as a justification for all of them, while also not aligning to what made Israel set apart to Yah. And you see, if you're able to understand this difference, you can better understand Paul's letters and what he is speaking to. So what I wanted to make sure is that this brief contrast is available so that as Paul is being reviewed, this can clarify points that may bring in confusion. So this video, again, is just a supplement to the Keeping the Torah series, because if you don't understand what changed from the first covenant to the new covenant, you can be influenced by lawless doctrines. So I wanted to put this out there in hopes that this illustration can help bring understanding to many that may need it. We're going to continue on with the Keeping the Torah series. Until that time, please continue to grow in knowledge and truth. Live your life in the truth and stay out of the lies. Because the kingdom of Yahuwah, is truly at hand. Be ready for it. And be blessed. HalleluYAH. Praise Yah. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I love you all.